do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks. You see it, KYJ. Things have changed just a little bit since the last time you were here.
I think you should see your oculus. Nothing wrong with my feet. I'm talking about your eyes.
I can even make my ass do tricks. Watch this.
You have any idea where you are? You're in the jungle, baby! This is WCW! That's right! Hold on!
For over 10 years, the world's #1 source for professional wrestling news and information. And once again, here's your hosts, Damian Nelson, Frank Cosentino, and the man they call Meathead. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Welcome all over the world, and most importantly, here in southeastern Wisconsin, to the world's #1 broadcast professional wrestling radio show. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, coming to you here from the lovely and beautiful Time Warner Cable Studios in downtown Milwaukee, live on a special night at a special time, Wednesday, May 12th. Thank you for joining us wherever you may be all over the world, streaming live at pwrshow.com in video and audio form, and also right here on 540 ESPN. We are here with the Cos, Frank Cosentino.
Hello.
Skull Crusher Rashi Brown of Ring of Honor Wrestling.
Yeah.
And David Octavius Hero.
It's about time.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm last.
Well, I go around the room.
The best
sort of,
for
kinda.
last.
Absolutely.
A lot to get to this week. Again, thank you for joining us wherever you may be. Yes,
the last time we were here, we had a little problem with the video feed. Okay? That's going to get shut off now during commercials, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah. Let's
Dave,
work
were
on
you
it.
taking your pants off again during commercial
No.
break?
Oh, no. We were
No.
talking about Hernandez.
Yeah, and some TNA, ballot or whatever they were doing. Rashi was getting naked, not me.
What? That is true, folks.
What the hell?
You can join us on the phone zone line, the number 1-800-990-ESPN, 1-800-990-3776, or all over the world.
I feel like I got to lay down as an IV here. And
Kaz, you look fabulous.
The Cos is working the camera tonight here in the live studio.
yeah, working it on the way down.
We figured you were the most athletic, so you could maneuver.
Kind of maneuver?
Yeah.
Well, I can't tuck in my hands. You being Italian,
And you got your little, your
Doesn't make
fancy little
sense.
jacket there that says Italia on it.
And
Well,
here's
it
the
was
thing.
cold, I got to wear
end
something.
fell off.
We put you there because you got the most hair on the back of your head.
Yeah, not much.
Hey, I'm bald by design.
Grass doesn't grow on back
yeah.
streets back here.
Yeah, okay.
You can join us again. The number is 276-3776, 276-3776, or all over the world at 1-800-990-3776. We're also live on Twitter. You can follow us. PWR Show is our Twitter name, and we'll be taking your comments on that. Speaking of comments, I'm sure a lot of people will have a lot of comments about our topics of discussion tonight. Which
Cody Rhodes
include,
at Toys R Us?
What? Why don't we save that for prime time tomorrow?
Okay. That was hot news.
I'm sorry, on Friday.
That was hot news.
We talked about it last week.
But it's still relevant.
He's still there at Toys R Us?
Well, no,
That Toys R Us
yeah,
closed.
What's he doing?
And here's the thing.
He didn't let him out?
More people are tweeting that they're seeing the Cody Rhodes action figures hanging on the shelves.
Uh-huh.
It's a worldwide epidemic, or as you would say, a pandemic.
We're going to talk about WWE Raw from this past Monday night, the eliminations on WWE NXT last night, which included Rashi, Daniel Bryan. We're going to talk about TNA Sacrifice this Sunday, Bryan Danielson.
Oh, okay.
This Sunday on pay-per-view, and hot news, Fish. You love that hot news.
Love hot news.
And a special feature, as you sounded a little bit like him, actually, a special feature. We're going to run down and talk about our favorite
Meathead's
good
bachelor
old
party.
Our favorite good old JR moments. As we learn, JR done, at least in a broadcasting fashion with WWE. Not good news, but we're going to reflect on some of those grand old times.
You know what?
With JR on
you
the
know what, Damien? I remember when Shawn Michaels said he was done, and he came back the following Monday night on Raw.
But Shawn Michaels said he was done. Jim Ross has not said he was done. WWE has said he's done.
So maybe he'll be on TNA. He's not finished. He's got ways too much. No.
He's got one more match left in him.
He wants to go out calling a big match.
Like he could have and should have done at WrestleMania 26.
Absolutely. Politics.
All right. As we said, the phone lines will be open all night long. The number, 276-3776, all over the world at 1-800-990-3776. We also have another TNA prize pack this week. which includes an advanced copy of TNA Fandemonium on DVD featuring Beer Money Incorporated and the Motor City Machine Guns, and a Hulkamania shirt, and, but wait, there's more, a TNA Lockdown shirt, which unfortunately does not feature the two main event participants, AJ Styles and the Pope, on it, but it is still a great shirt nonetheless.
You know, I just got a text message.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
I did.
Who does an egg?
And it says,
And don't forget the milk.
It says, ask Damien how is Mr. TNA's catering extravaganza has been on Monday nights lately.
Well, here's the thing. We that catering company was having some challenges, so we found a company that was only available on Thursdays. So now catering's been moved to Thursday.
Ah.
It's a better night. You know, it's closer to the weekend.
And now they don't have, Friends is off TV.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You don't have that great Thursday night lineup.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't like the hate in here so far.
There's no hate.
There's a lot of hate in here.
I don't hate yet.
Dude, you have no idea. There is no hate here. No. We're all
I'll give you a
feeling
hug later after the
I
camera.
see
Once the
all
camera falls down. Then.
You know that's an expensive
Frank, you
got to
work on that camera. It's only Rashi and I in the frame right now. We'll get that fixed.
Well, if
during
I
the
move
time
it-
out.
Wow.
But let's talk
that's
about
ratings.
talk about WWE
Yeah,
Raw. We'll get to TNA Impact. Let's talk about WWE Raw from this past Monday night, and we'd be remiss if we didn't start with the guest host, which was apparently the final guest host of Authority, and he was Flavor Flav. Yes, boy. Kaz, your thoughts on the Flav hosting WWE Raw?
He did okay. It wasn't anything special, but he's got his fan base and did all his favorite sayings that he likes to say, and obviously plugged what he needed to plug many times. But that's their job. Not only to cater to the audience, but also cater to their next show. I thought he did okay. It wasn't anything special, but it was all right.
David the Hero, Flavor Flav. Everybody was wearing clocks, including the Bella Twins at one point.
The best part of that was William Regal.
Yes.
Busting a move.
Yes, boy. I wonder if we can find that clip. Maybe we'll play it tonight of Regal's rap.
It was awesome.
Yes, boy. Rashi, Flav, Flavor of Love.
I wish I saw it.
Were you traveling again?
Unfortunately,
There you
I
go.
was. Hey, it was there.
Where were you this weekend, and how are your arms?
I was in a rehab clinic.
For physical ailment.
Yes.
Specify, please.
I haven't admitted my other problems yet, so yeah.
Who needs that first step?
That's a 2-drink minimum. It's okay.
I know.
I thought Flav was pretty good. I thought it was a fun show. I thought he contributed to it. But he's a parody of himself.
He was outshined, though.
By Regal?
By your girl.
My girl, Alicia Fox?
No. The
Who's
other
my
one.
girl?
Excuse me.
Other one.
Oh, we were going to get to that.
Well, I'm just trying to help
The
you
new
along here.
general manager of Raw, in a blockbuster announcement this past Monday night. We're going to talk about whether or not she is or isn't still the GM. This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Stay up to
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, streaming live at ESPNMilwaukee.com and PWRshow.com. Damian Nelson, the Kaz, David Hero, and Rashi Brown, the Skull Crusher, here with you live. And just before we took that time out, we were talking about the new general manager of WWE Raw again.
Is that on?
Yeah.
Is that on?
Yeah, we're live. We're
Okay.
streaming live on audio and video at PWRshow.com.
Just making sure.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No more mistakes.
Uh-huh. Well, it wasn't on, but now it's on.
What?
Okay.
What is it?
The video.
What?
Stream.
Who sang that song?
What?
Faith No
Is
More. That's right.
Epic.
Excuse me. Vickie Guerrero announced as the new general manager of Raw, but then, before the night was over, she will have quit that role, at least on TV. David Hero, your thoughts on Vickie Guerrero running the show on Raw?
It's amazing that she is the most over personality besides John Cena in the company.
The most besides.
Absolutely.
Really?
She gets the best crowd reaction out of anybody.
You know why?
Better than Jericho?
Tell me why.
Because she looks human.
Hmm?
human.
What do you mean?
She's not superhuman. People can relate to her.
Yep.
She's not.
But they hate her.
Exactly.
And that's what works.
And you relate to people that you don't like in your life.
Is that friends close, enemies closer thing?
No, it's just she reminds you of somebody that lives in your house or down the street or you work with that annoys you, and that's just what it is. It's not a fantasy with her. It's striking a nerve. It's reality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and at the end, when Orton was going after her, getting close, and she was trembling and then screaming, you're kind of like, whoa, that's weird. But then it felt real. Yeah. Like she was generally scared, and it was fun.
Not only does she generate such great heat, but she caresses and redirects.
Dude, that is a mental image I did not want.
Of Vickie caressing?
Caressing anything.
No, Vickie's a great lady, too. We had the chance to meet her at WrestleMania.
Yeah, you guys had a tequila shot together.
A couple.
She's
a good lady, and just really, people they don't hate, they abhor her. They just despise her.
She does her job well.
Absolutely.
And
makes it easy.
Ain't it a shame that an untrained woman that's the husband or the wife of a worker is like the most hated person in the company?
And she did nothing wrong.
No, I mean, but she's doing her job. But
right,
I'm saying a woman, she was just a housewife, and she, you know what do you understand what I'm saying?
They were
I'm
once
feeling
a sitcom family on your black and white TV.
I mean, you can go recruit all the football players that don't make it to the NFL you want, but if they don't have personality when you put them on TV, they don't generate revenue.
But she also grew up in the wrestling. Well,
I don't
married
care.
into the wrestling business.
I don't care.
You getting hot?
Well, sometimes I do.
She makes it look effortless.
Yeah.
That's what I think is amazing.
She's just being herself to a degree, I would say.
No, she doesn't seem like a mean person in real life.
I'm not sure if she's mean, though.
No.
Where? As her character?
Yeah.
You know what? Every time we've bumped into her, she has been
No,
nothing
I mean
but
her
a sweetheart
character.
darling.
I mean her character. Her character's not necessarily mean.
She's just
over motherly.
She's running the show, and she wants you to know it. I don't know. But
will she stay as Raw's GM this time? She quit because Randy Orton forced her to quit, basically, at the end of Raw this past Monday night. Will she and should she still continue as the general manager?
Oh, she has to. Who else can do it for him?
Why stop now?
Regal.
No. Regal had his run.
Yep. It was a great run, though.
It was a great run. But
Vickie's been GM of Raw before as well.
Here's the thing.
So now this is the NBA with retread GMs, right?
Wait a minute. Let's show the world how great William Regal is. We got that clip from Monday night of him rapping.
Straight out of Blackpool, I'm William Regal. My rhyme's so intense, they shouldn't be legal. My style is refined, not crude and crass. I'll keep you grounded like volcanic ash. I'll take you down, rung by rung. I'm just like British Parliament. I'm completely hung. Straight up gangster tripping. Yes, boy.
Yes, boy. Being the best part. Regal is gold.
He's always been that good.
Always.
He's always
been
has,
that good.
But we haven't seen it enough lately.
The thing that people don't understand is this is another man that they bottle up his character. That's him in real life. I mean, he's a very compelling person as a human being. And just because he's from England, they stick him in this little pigeonholed gimmick. But
that's going to happen for just about every Englishman, though, unfortunately.
I know, but he is so hilarious. He can entertain you.
He can do it. And you know who's trying, and it depends on how the fans will react, is Kozlov. He's in that beginning stage of, let's see if he can do comedy. Now, it's up to the fans. It's up to the fans to make it happen, but it wasn't horrible.
No, it was. He was rather entertaining.
Yeah, I'm thinking, give him a shot. See if it works.
I'd rather he'd be great as a. Oh God!
Him and Santino together.
Yeah, man.
He's a Belky.
A
perfect strangers. Yeah.
There you go.
Cousin Lady Appleton.
Don't be ridiculous.
Don't fit it.
Kaz, your thoughts on Vickie Guerrero? Should she and will she continue as the general manager of Raw?
Yeah, why not? It's the summer.
Wow. Every reason in the world, right there from the Kaz. Hell, it's the summer.
Yeah, because viewership is down, and just if you want to try something new, go for it. But she works. makes it work.
Raw there is no season for wrestling. It's year round, baby.
Yeah, well, ratings kind of prove that in the summer less people watch TV.
Okay.
He's just saying.
No, I'm not disagreeing.
Should she be? I don't know. Will she be? I think she will. Though next week they'll do something and say I really didn't. I was against my threat of life or whatever, and I said something I shouldn't have said, and she'll be GM.
In the chatmosphere at pwrshow.com, user by the name of Simon5150 says, reference Vickie Guerrero, she's like the neighbor whose yard you really don't want to have to get your baseball back from.
Yeah, for real.
Just saying. I was very happy when Vickie said, excuse me, after Edge said there would be a new GM of Raw, because the other piece, the other newsworthy item was that the guest hosts no longer are in a position of power, which really plays strongly for Buzz Aldrin next Monday night.
Yeah.
Because that makes sense.
Yeah.
And Toronto.
Do you know why they brought Vickie back?
Why'd they bring Vickie back?
To make
Justin
sure
brought Sexy back?
No, to make sure Edge is the heel.
Yeah.
Because right now a lot of fans like Edge, a lot of them like Randy Orton. They had to make sure that one is definitely the heel, and what better way to do it than to, put one with Vickie.
Did you not have a hint though that when he kept saying, Vickie, you need to be there, that it was like, well, wait a minute, they're going to do a little switch here at the end where he kind of swerves the other way. I had that inkling. Obviously, it didn't happen, but he made the point like 3 times, you have to be there. Like, well, what's the big deal? If she's there or not? What's she going to take a bump? What's the deal? So
he cares about her. He wants her to see that big shining moment.
Yeah. It looked like there was going to be some type of swerve. Obviously, it didn't happen. But
well, I'd like to see her continue. I'm a big fan of Vickie Guerrero in a general manager role because I just think she adds to the program, which some GMs.
But does she overshadow the program?
I don't think so at all.
Well,
I think at a program that's seeing its ratings at its lowest point in years, it needs every little thing it can to help.
She can't hurt it.
But isn't that amazing? They're going to Vickie Guerrero.
I know,
right?
5 years ago, when talking about who may save Raw if it hit its demise, I don't think her name would have been on the list.
Nope. No.
Just saying. Ted DiBiase's stable is comprised of the Colognes.
Wow.
Can't say I expected that.
And for 1 week.
Does that not just quickly diminish his stable?
When did Primo and Carlito make up?
It was like on Superstars.
Ted did it. Ted made it all happen.
It was on a flight back to Puerto Rico after a show 3 or 4 weeks ago.
So Carlos sat them both down and said, "Hey, boys."
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't think that was a one-time deal?
No, because all this talk about his faction, his stable, if you will, and then he's out there with the belt and a suit, and they come in out of nowhere to do his dirty work. I think that they're his lackeys.
I think as much as I'm a fan of Carlito, I think this knocks Ted DiBiase down a notch or 2.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
He's no longer a main event player.
It's like they're doing reverse Randy Orton, but DiBiase.
It's like
rub
JBL and the Bashams.
Well, it's like
Randy
Orton's rub was supposed to work on DiBiase. Now his rub should work on those 2, but it didn't work on DiBiase, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So
he didn't work on Cody Rhodes either.
No,
he's on sale at Toys R Us every week.
Is this because of you think he's being taken down a notch?
No,
not
it's
only
because
with
they made too many. Nobody wants to buy them.
No.
A hospital? What is it? It's a big building with patients, but that's not important right now.
He's here all night.
What is this, airplane?
No, this is the studio.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cosby,
Anyway.
you were saying. I think you were making a valid point before.
No, not a valid point. I don't know
Mr.
if it's
Hatred
valid or
over
not.
there.
No, I do think that we look at Cody, or not Cody, but Ted DiBiase.
See, Cody
on
sticks with
he's lower on the rung now with those 2 doing his dirty work than he was with Randy Orton, I think.
But is it because he's going after our truth?
No, it's just because it's who he is. I mean, come on. He's not over. He's not that over.
When they got to dust off the $1 million belt
that they've been using for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's not working.
Was Virgil the last official holder of that belt? Or no, Steve Austin was when DiBiase was his manager when he came in as the ringmaster.
Or was it Savio Vega?
Ooh.
I don't remember. But you know what, though, honestly, who could DiBiase have brought into his stable that it would have meant something to battle main event guys?
You mean on the roster now?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's in a no-win situation.
Well,
even if you pair him up with John Morrison, I don't think that would help.
No. But I don't think Ted DiBiase's sitting home on an airplane
you know what?
saying, how do I assemble my stadium?
You know what?
He doesn't have a say-so.
You know what he should have done? He should have paid the big money and had Sheamus as like his Arn Anderson, his enforcer.
Now you're talking.
That possibly could have worked, and maybe someone's listening.
We're going to continue talking about WWE Raw and preview TNA Sacrifice on pay-per-view this weekend. This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Everybody's got a price. Everybody's gonna pay. There's $1 million man.
Top 10 theme songs ever?
Absolutely.
Higher or lower than Honky Tonk Man?
Lower.
I love Card Sharks. Card Sharks. That was a great game. I used to do the higher lower thing. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, streaming live at pwrshow.com and ESPNMilwaukee.com. You can join us on the phone lines, the number 276-3776, or all over the world at 1-800-990-3776. And we're talking about WWE Raw, and there was a bit of a surprise this past Monday night. And he would do anything for love, but he wouldn't do that. Meatloaf obnoxiously starting off the show, which actually, I'm a Meatloaf fan.
Is that why he's not here right now?
No. No, Meatloaf.
I love Kelly Holcomb. I know he will start.
Thought they were the same guy. My bad.
Hey, Damien, just so you know, you were wrong. Savio Vega never held the $1 million title.
Oh, I was wrong. I never said he did. Thank you very much, interns, for looking that up.
Just letting you know.
Twister. We're just going to start calling you Twister.
Twisted?
Twister. Meatloaf, I mean, it was all just sort of random, and I'm not sure the point at the end of the day, aside from getting RKO'd.
Because it'll be on VH1's Best Week Ever.
Yeah, in 3 years.
You watch. You watch this weekend.
Announced
It'll be right
for
between your Lady Gaga videos that you always got to tune
into. Announced for next week, it is Bret Hart returning to professional wrestling action against he who is awesome, The Miz.
Just
Bret Hart versus The Miz.
And it's
next
just
week.
because
From Toronto, by the way.
Yeah, that's the only reason, right?
Talk about heat.
Could there be a Toronto screw job?
Ha ha.
Well, this time I think the Canadians will laugh and say, ha.
Only if Earl Hebner comes out.
That's one thing they haven't forgotten about, is that screw job.
Well, the first one, okay, that's legit and real, but if it
ago.
happens again, okay, no.
You know, who really wants to see this match?
Nobody.
Me?
Really?
No.
You know
can't move.
Do you know what Bret Hart said after his match with Vince McMahon at WrestleMania? My arms are tired from hitting with the chair so many times.
That wasn't a match at WrestleMania, though.
So what can Bret Hart... I mean, you know what? The Miz will look like Kurt Angle, compared to Bret Hart right now.
Doesn't he always?
But Bret can't...
Shut your mouth.
Unless in the last 6 weeks something happened, he really can't move that well.
I just don't think it's safe for him to do this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, honestly, and
Rashi's getting
I
hot.
just hate these stupid double standards. Okay, so Bret's going to wrestle next week.
But Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan can, right?
No. Does he have to go through the physical that all the other wrestlers have to go through to be medically cleared to wrestle? Because everyone there, before they work in that company, they have to go through every test. You be poked and prodded. I've done it and I know. So what doctor can tell me that Bret Hart's okay to wrestle in a ring?
A doctor in Toronto, Canada.
But yet, a guy that works in TNA now that went there, he couldn't be medically cleared to wrestle, and he's 30 years younger and in shape.
Something's not right.
No,
it's
not.
called
It's a valid
sports
point.
entertainment.
Rules matter when it matters to them. I swear to God, that's how this.
That's why I think what's going to happen in this match is going to kind of be Miz kind of jumping in and out of the ring.
You're starting to turn green.
I know, because it's.
I think it'll be a couple punches, and then it'll be about it. And then there'll be some kind of storyline attached to it.
If anything, Jericho's going to come in quick, and that's going to bring out the
well, that's
New
what I'm saying.
Hart
He'll like stomp him, and then the Hart Foundation will come out, and it'll be like a 3-on-3 or something at the end.
And then what does this do for Bret Hart? I mean, He didn't he say something along the lines of he wasn't really happy with his match with Vince?
Mm-hmm.
So what does he think what's going to happen this
Maybe
week?
ticket sales are soft in Toronto right
That's
now.
where I was going. Where is this thing being held?
No. I understand this is all about money, and that's fine and dandy. But Bret Hart as a human being, I'm sure you don't need the money that bad. And what are you doing? What are you proving? I mean, you
Trying
don't
to help
need to wrestle.
Help his brethren out? I don't know.
It's all about, Harry and Tyson and Natalie.
Yeah.
It's helping them out. Because you know what?
He doesn't need to wrestle to help them
No, he
out.
doesn't. He can manage them. He could just sit out there and just help them that way.
Me as a fan of Bret Hart, I'd feel a lot better watching him on the apron helping out the boys instead of being in there. And now this is the last memory I have of Bret Hart.
Yeah.
That would hurt me as a fan personally.
Many right now have the memory of WrestleMania.
Right. I didn't see it, so I'm happy, and I don't ever want to see it. So.
Right. I agree.
That was WWE Raw. Overall, your thoughts on Raw from this past Monday Night card?
An average show, nothing special. It was entertaining at times. I think the whole Regal segment is something that would be the most memorable of it, and then Vickie Guerrero too. But yeah, nothing special. Just it was okay.
When we come back, we're going to talk to John in Massachusetts, Cass in Georgia, and James in Houston. This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Did you miss an interview? Don't worry. Listen to it right now on ESPNMilwaukee.com inside the audio vault.
All right.
I'll help you with that. Don't worry about it.
Thank you. All right. Now listen.
Listening.
This is the Eagles.
The Eagles?
Them shoes.
All right. Yeah, I hear it.
I never heard of that song.
Yeah, I can hear Don Henley. It's in there.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, coming to you from the Time Warner Cable Studios of 540 ESPN, downtown Milwaukee. We're live on a special night, special time, and streaming live at pwrshow.com. And,
we have a special night next week, too, don't we?
We do. We're going to be on next Thursday night, right after Impact.
Really?
Yep.
Not in the contract.
Why neither?
I'll still be here, but just so you know, it's not in the contract.
What time?
I think
Same
he's
time?
been a little bit douchey.
Mina's here?
Let's go to the AirTran phone zone, AirTran Airlines phone zone. We've got, you can join us by calling 276-3776 or all over the world at 1-800-990-3776. Let's go to Massachusetts. John wants to talk about the recently eliminated from WWE NXT, Daniel Bryan. John, you're live.
How you doing, guys?
Great.
Good.
All right, good there. With the elimination of Daniel Bryan from NXT, do you guys think in any way that he'll get a rub against The Miz, maybe taking Bret Hart, or to SmackDown?
There's definitely huge money in a Miz-Daniel Bryan feud. That's what the people want to see.
Yeah. They've been feeding it since the beginning, and there hasn't been an ending to it yet. So I can see him somehow getting involved in it.
Yeah. You know what? They could even actually work Daniel Bryan in with Bret Hart somehow.
Yeah.
And next week's show?
Maybe. Yeah, you might be onto something there.
Yeah, I think there's something involved with that, actually. I think he'd look great on SmackDown, actually.
Who would you like to see going against on SmackDown?
Christian. You could go against, Kofi Kingston, Jack Swagger, eventually.
Yeah.
Your world champion, Jack Swagger.
Yeah.
John from out in Massachusetts, thank you very much for calling in and being part of the program. Let's go down to Houston, Texas, where James would like to talk about the Big Show.
Hey, guys. How you guys doing tonight?
Pretty good, James.
Tremendous.
I just had a question. What do you guys think about the Big Show's babyface turn? And then one more quick thing, and I'll let you guys talk about it. Me and a friend of mine was getting into a big debate about the best monster heel build-up of all time. He said Yokozuna, I said Kane, and we just wanted to know y'all guys' opinions. Thank you so much for the call, and you guys have a good night.
Thank you very much, James, down in Houston. Great question.
I'd say Brock Lesnar.
Are those the two we have to choose from? Or?
No, it's anybody.
Well, he says it was. I believe James says that he had Kane.
They did a good job with Kane. That's gotta be Kane.
Well, he threw everybody off a building and burned them. Everybody.
I'm sorry, but with me as a kid in the '80s, everybody that they built up for Hogan was like, wow, how is Hogan gonna beat this?
Right? You know who I think?
Bundy,
one-man gang.
One-man gang. Paul Orndorff. I mean, they were all monster heels. I mean, you got your turn. It was.
Would you put Piper in the monster heel?
No.
He's
but
not
the question isn't whether or not they're a monster heel. The question is about the build-up for that monster heel.
Right, but back then they gave you 4 months to build up Bundy for Hogan at WrestleMania, and it started in November, October. So that's all we were saturated
We need to get
with.
Bundy back on here again.
As long as a 7-second delay, we're good.
I would say that in 1996, late 95, early 96, when Vader came into WWE. We've talked about this many times.
He was a scary monster heel.
He took out Gorilla Monsoon,
which was unheard of.
Before then.
That was really the icing on the cake, though. When he beat up Doan and Monsoon.
I remember
after a Savio Vega match.
When he was going to feud with Flair, then with Hogan, I was like, wow, he's going to kill those guys.
Yeah, I mean, he was believable.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've told this story, but we were at a WWE event in Green Bay, me and my buddy Brian Westerman. And for some reason, somehow or another, ended up where Vader had pulled up to us. We were walking through the parking lot and asked where to get some necessities from, a 6-pack of them. And as he's leaving after we give him the directions, he says, "What time is it?" My buddy looks at his watch and goes, "About 10:30."
Wow.
But yeah, Vader, great build-up. Your point about Piper, good. I'm not sure though Piper was ever really. That was a simmer over a number of years, it seemed.
No, well, Piper's not a monster heel or a threat. He's like a thorn in the side that can beat you, but you can beat Piper. If it's fair and square, Piper will lose.
Yeah.
So he's not a monster. You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
Brock Lesnar, another point somebody brought up. Without Paul Heyman, would that build have been as good as it was?
No, because he needed the mouthpiece.
Yeah, he needs the mouthpiece.
But Lesnar looked like the kind of guy that could kill you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still does. And
Umaga.
Another great monster heel, the early 90s, Sid Vicious, putting everybody out on the gurneys.
Yeah.
That was
I'm the master
great.
and the ruler of the world.
Was he Vicious or Justice at that point?
Well, he was Vicious.
NWA.
Well, it depends on if he won softball the night before.
Yeah.
And the caller's point about the Big Show, his face turn, it was draft then turn, wasn't it? Or did he really do anything?
All he had to do was knock out Jericho and Miz.
With me,
I forgot Miz took that punch like a man.
With me, Big Show doesn't. I mean, as a person, I don't. He's a good guy, but he does nothing for me. Nothing.
I was thinking today randomly, why is he still around? And what I mean by that is
because he's big.
No, not why do people want him around? But remember when he left for a number of years, was pursuing other interests, maybe 2 years or so. Then he came back, and it seemed like it was going to be a short-term gig. That's been
$1 million a year.
My friend,
I guess. Money talks.
And New York, they love big guys. So.
And they basically have gone full circle with him, from heel to comedic face and everything.
They have tried to make him quit. They have done everything.
Let's continue on the phone line. Let's go down to Florida and talk to Gilberto, who wants to talk about WWE Raw. Gilberto, you're live.
Hey, guys. What's up?
Not much, man.
I just want to kind of, not about Raw, but something I feel that a lot of people aren't really noticing. But, there's been a lot of rumors that Jim Ross and Paul Heyman are possibly going to TNA, possibly being bookers and stuff like that. But I think that in the whole general, because I've recently heard an interview with Lance Storm, and he talked about guys who aren't really in the limelight or retired basically in their career who would be good bookers because of their past experiences in the business. And he brought up guys like, Raven, Tommy Dreamer, even guys maybe
his
15,
pals
10 years down the road like Chris Jericho. And obviously Triple H. But Triple H is kind of a different story because he has probably bigger things to worry about in about 10 years. And I think
3 kids.
Yeah, it's true because, I feel that it's not bad to go after Paul Heyman and JR, but they have lives too. They may not want to be in the business forever. You know, they have other things that they want.
Guys like that will be in the business forever because it's in our blood. Even when you want to get out, you're still stuck in this thing. Believe me.
Yeah, that's pretty true. And just to talk a little bit about JR, you know, just to get my 2 cents about him, you know, to me, if you look back at every great moment in WWE history, title wins, heel turns, whatever, even going back to his WCW days, you know, Sting winning the title from Flair, Foley falling off the cage, Austin winning at WrestleMania 14, JR has always been a part of those moments. And I feel that, you know, it's gonna be kind of hard to not to experience his voice, you know, because he made you believe, he made you want to believe the moment that was going on.
Our generation, but before that, It was Gordon Solie. You know,
right? Well, I would even add.
You're skipping a generation
Gorilla
of
Monsoon.
Gorilla and Bobby Heenan. I mean, Solie was before those guys, but he still was there when they were there. But yeah, it didn't go Gordon.
Well,
to
no.
Jim
But
Ross.
what I'm saying is, you know, for that generation when Gordon Solie retired, it was like, oh, how can we imagine a show without Gordon Solie?
Not really. Not when he retired, because that was like mid '90s. He was up there, and guys that really remembered Gordon Solie were either turned off by the wrestling business around that time before the boom again, or they were just really old.
I mean, when you talk about biggest moments and being an old timer like I am, one of the things you remember is Hulk Hogan picking up Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
And that's Gorilla Monsoon. And Vince McMahon, for that matter, on the mic at the time.
You know, Vince was good.
He was.
Yes, he was. I mean,
he was very good.
1, 2, 3, he got him. Oh, I thought he had him.
He wasn't great,
That's gotta
but
be it.
he knew what he had to do to get his guys over,
Right.
and he
He
did
was
it.
perfect.
And the passion was there because it was his business and his
It was his
company.
money,
Right.
more importantly.
Exactly.
Gilberto, thank you for that call down in Florida. We got to take a timeout. You can join us on the
give me
phone
a timeout
zone, though.
now?
I'm sorry, we're
We're going in the corner.
Join us on the phone zone, 276-3776, or all over the world at 1-800-990-3776. We got Moses in New York waiting. You can join him. This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, streaming live at ESPNMilwaukee.com.
540. Start the day with Mike and Mike, mornings at 5 a.m. Get Milwaukee sports all day long on 540 ESPN.
Vintage. I actually remember this. I can't think of the last time I heard it, but I remember this.
So what was there?
Who are you talking to?
Let me help you again with that, okay?
Hey, I'm in my own little world.
You know what you got to do?
If you want to hear me, you're going to have to bring this desk over here.
You got to do like Hero, and you got to Anderson the mic. Yeah.
You know what? That reminds me.
I know that the masked guy in the Orient Express, he was one big Asian guy.
Yeah.
This was actually requested by the PWR Show Twitter account. Someone sent out that we should.
But who was
play
that big guy?
I can't remember who it was.
Oh, come on, y'all. I'm just joking. Paul Diamond. Stop it.
Max Moon.
You don't know Paul Diamond?
Well,
The
the
Bad Company?
Bad
time. Oh,
Company,
yeah.
baby.
Not the Paul Diamond from the 70s.
I'm only 22. I don't remember all this.
Oh, that's right. Hey, I got a special message here.
What do you have?
Okay. It says out to you with Mrs. Anderson. Anderson was going to call you guys and invite all of you to come hang out with me in Hammond, Indiana. But I got to get off the damn phone before I get castrated. And it says, Damien, don't worry, Pope won't be here.
Ah. What do I have to worry about?
I don't know.
Uh-huh.
You want to go to Hammond?
All right, let's go to Hammond. When are we going? Friday? TNA's going to be
I guess
live in
it's
Hammond,
Friday.
Indiana.
I bet
Friday
they have
night.
catering there for you, too.
Matter of fact, isn't this the perfect time to take our fifth caller for that TNA prize pack?
Ooh, absolutely.
Right, we got Moses and Eric holding. We're going to get to those calls when we come back from the Sports Center update, and then we're going to take those calls for a advanced copy of TNA Pandemonium and also a Hulkamania T-shirt and a shirt, TNA Lockdown shirt signed by David Hero. What? I got no heat with the Pope. You are a heat transitioner.
Hang on, man. We're not trying to do value stuff here.
Why am I
going to
sign it?
Well, because you've been talking a lot about lockdown.
Because I called the main event?
No, he's on lockdown.
Uh-huh.
Thanks, pal.
Let's go ahead and remind you of the phone numbers by which you can join us. The number 276-3776 or 1-800-990-3776. Let's go out to Moses in New York City who wants to talk about TNA pay-per-views, of which there's one this Sunday. Moses, you're live.
Hey, guys. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening,
Moses.
Moses.
Awesome. Awesome. Actually, it's about all the TNA pay-per-views. The WWE did this in the 90s. They didn't have a pay-per-view a month. They had, let's say, a pay-per-view every 3 months, and then the build-up, and then the actual pay-per-view. Yep. Do you think TNA today will benefit from that? Because the reason why, and I heard Damien talk about this part of lockdown, but the reason why I think lockdown was successful was because even a Destination X, that pay-per-view, it was also leading to lockdown. Everything was leading to that one pay-per-view. Do you think having a pay-per-view every month, like, I'm not going to watch Sacrifice. I'll admit that. I don't know. Lockdown intrigued me. Sacrifice didn't. Am I right, wrong? What do you guys think?
Well, Moses, thank you for that call. We're going to speak more about that when we come back. But in general, I don't think TNA can afford the lost free money that is pay-per-view. This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
540 ESPN. Celebrating 12 years on the air and voted 2009 Broadcast Show of the Year. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Welcome to Hour 2 of the Pro Wrestling Report on a special night, special time, live Wednesday night, May 12th, 2010. Coming to you from the beautiful Time Warner Cable Studios here in downtown Milwaukee. Damian Nelson sitting alongside ROH's very own Skull Crusher Rashi Brown.
Yeah.
David Octavius Hero.
No.
David the Pope Hero.
Come on.
The Sheik.
I don't like Octavius.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
It's kind of got a Greek thing to it.
David the Hero.
There you go. That's better.
And Bubba, by the way, the guy whose name I won't speak, so I apologize for speaking. He had some pretty negative things to say about your buddy the Sheik, by the way.
Adam Sheik?
Yeah. Completely
Profiling.
unprovoked. And the Cos, Frank Costantino, here with you live.
Just getting my hand out so they could get my hand out.
Hands up.
Yeah.
Let's remind everybody of the phone number of which you can join us on, the number 276-3776, or all over the world, 1-800-990-ESPN, 1-800-990-3776. A question before we took that time out from Moses out in NYC, TNA pay-per-views. Should they just skip a few and do major shows?
Can't afford to.
Pay-per-views are free money. There's not much tied up in them, but you don't need to get much business to get some money.
No, they got to keep the one-a-month thing going. It's got to be making the money somehow, even if it's a little bit.
Well, when 12 people are buying them,
what
are you going to do?
I heard it was up to 13.
Okay.
All right, but we'll confirm that.
What are you going to do? Not have pay-per-views?
You know what they got to do? They got to get the blasters, and I've said this 100 times.
The who?
The blasters. You know, like Romines, where they show all pay-per-views for free. They got to start getting them out to the bars, the sports bars, that kind of thing, to get people interested in watching.
And they
for
have
free.
to give it away. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Or have some type of in your house and give away a house.
Well,
your house on Mother's Day.
I mean, the deal, honestly, is it's like you want people to know who we are, and you want them to order your pay-per-views, but if they don't know who you are, and if I didn't know a company, I cannot put my faith in paying $30 or $40 to gamble to see if I'm going to be entertained. So if you did do that, let's give one pay-per-view up, just 1 month, like July.
How much are their
free
pay-per-views?
for the whole world. The pay-per-view.
$35.
So it's what, $10 cheaper than WWE?
Yeah, it
depends, isn't it?
Depends on the pay-per-view, I believe.
Isn't some of them like $29.99?
No, they're all $35. WWE's all $44, or WrestleMania is $55 or $60. I don't know. A lot of money.
Free parking.
I'm not sure why the parking checkers outside the studio, because it's 9 p.m. and that zone ends at 6, I believe. So,
boy.
Anyways, let's go to Eric in Michigan, who wants to talk to you, Rashi Brown, about your organization, Ring of Honor. Eric, you are live.
Hello, gentlemen, and meathead.
Oh, he's not here.
So you had it right.
Apparently, I'm very wrong. All right, so I'm watching the video the other day, and I see Kevin Steen. I'm a big Kevin Steen fan, but he's talking about how WWE offered him a contract, yet he turned it down. I was wondering what you think the possibilities of that actually being true, and if he did go, the truth behind the toning down of the moves, like Gene Snitsky saying that he wasn't allowed to wrestle the way he actually could wrestle.
Well, thank you for that call, Eric. Kevin Steen's a unique talent. He wouldn't be the kind of person who you would actually think would be as over as he is as a wrestler based on his looks, which is a point that's been made in ROH.
Yeah.
But he's an amazing performer.
He is. As far as him in WWE, I can't speak on that because I know nothing about it. If he's actually publicly saying that, I'm pretty sure if it was not true that the WWE could make him look foolish.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, if they acknowledged him and it wasn't true, now he's in their...
Now he's got leverage.
Well, not leverage, but he's in their mind, you know? I mean, they thought of him to
in
speak
your
about
house.
him. But what was his question about his wrestling style? Did he say he turned it down because they wouldn't let him wrestle the way he wanted to wrestle? And is that why
I believe it was if he
about,
were to go, then...
He'd have to tone it down?
Mm-hmm.
I could see that.
But you know what? That's a choice a lot of people are willing to take.
Yeah, because...
Money.
Well, this is the thing. Nothing's guaranteed in the wrestling business. Even if they did offer him a contract, let's say it's not for a television contract, it's a developmental contract. That doesn't guarantee you anything.
No.
It doesn't guarantee you a nice living for 2 or 3 years. It's really crappy money, honestly. And most of us would rather be on the independent circuit, wrestling when we want, where we want, for how much money we want, instead of a stupid low flat rate and getting ripped off by the big giant. And
that's why I only work indie shows.
I hear you, baby. If I'm going to make 3 figures a year, it's going to be on my terms. You know what I mean?
Nothing better than being your own boss.
Yeah.
Thank you for that call, Eric, out of Michigan. I think now we've got the phone lines clear. Not really. We've got some more callers calling in, but we're going to take caller 5 right now for that TNA prize pack, which includes that Fandemonium DVD before anybody else gets their hand on it. It doesn't release for another couple of weeks. Also a Hulkamania T-shirt. And
I just signed that shirt, by the way.
Lockdown shirt signed by David the Hero.
DHHS.
Because he has spoken. WWE NXT last night, we had some eliminations, and let's go down the list of those who were voted off the program and will no longer be featured on on WWE's Tuesday night.
Wow, what's on your brain all of a sudden again?
Tuesday night TNA, it's an easy mistake.
Okay, you don't got to defend yourself.
No, I'm tired of it.
And you're getting hot.
I'm hot about it.
Just give each other a hug and end it.
I'll hug him later.
Michael Tarver skipped Sheffield.
Michael
Tarver skipped Sheffield, and Bryan Daniel Bryan, all relinquished from their NXT duties.
So what does that mean now?
It means they're going back to Tampa.
Okay, now this is my deal. All right.
What's your deal?
If they want to perpetrate to the fans that this is a true competition.
Perpetrate.
Yeah, perpetrate, front, BS. If I see Daniel Bryan on a roster, if I see Tarver, come on, man, quit playing with us. Be real or don't be real. If I see him on a roster, this whole thing's a sham, right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
What's the point of having a winner when 4 other guys won also? And that's what I don't like about the old Tough Enough. There's a Tough Enough winner, and then they still hired like 8 of the guys after, they only got rid of 1 of them. What was the point of all that stuff? It was a work.
Really, though, nowadays, what isn't a work?
The only thing that isn't a work is I do have to brush my teeth every day or my breath stinks. You know what I'm saying?
Reference that lockdown shirt for the TNA prize pack. We had a comment in the chatmosphere at TWRshow.com that says, Field System. Oh, wow, David Hero signed the shirt. Man, that shirt's going to go instantly.
Now we have to give 2 shirts away.
That hurts, man.
That's
a
good thing.
It hurts that we have to pay
People
for
want
shipping
your autograph.
extra now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. I should have made that point. Local callers only. Thank you, Rashi, for cleaning that up, because I got to come pick it up. Unless you want to fly in and pick up that.
Some people might want to do that.
You can probably wait for Don West Daily Deal, though, and be in a better spot. Let's go to the phone lines again. Devon in Yonkers, New York.
Yonkers.
Let's talk about the best rivalries in wrestling. Devon, you're live.
Testify.
Hello, how you doing, guys? Enjoy the show.
Thank you.
I'm calling to ask, what, in your opinion, the best feud that didn't involve in the WWE, the best feud that didn't involve a title, and the best feud that did involve a title?
Of all time?
Man, we got to get back to it.
Wow.
Best feud that did not involve a title, best feud that did involve a
The
title.
first thing that comes to mind,
All right.
although it didn't really, well, no, last year's Shawn Michaels Undertaker, but I can't remember if Undertaker had the title or not.
What about Roddy Piper and Adrian Adonis?
Adorable Adrian Adonis. Was that WrestleMania 3-ish?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you can go like McMahon and Austin.
There was rarely a belt involved.
Mr. T, was that a belt deal?
Yeah, he had a big leather belt.
Jake the Snake and Ravishing Rick Rude.
That was great.
Never a title.
Anything to do with like a retirement thing.
But notice we're saying all stuff from the 80s.
Because that was the best time.
What was the last great feud in professional wrestling? The last great feud. The last feud that you just wanted to know what was next in and what was going to happen in. The last great feud.
Ric Flair and Terry Funk when Terry Funk tried to kill him.
89?
Oh, stop it.
You're going back that far? 1989?
He just saw that for the first time a couple weeks ago. He didn't even...
Come on, seriously.
You don't even know who Terry Funk is.
He's Sabu, isn't he?
Wow. Flair and Funk was one of the best feuds of all time, by the way, from that pile driver at Clash of Champions or whatever it was.
I'm not going to say Zeus and Hogan.
One of the great crazy. One of the greatest things ever was doing a double switch with Flair as the heel that whole match and Funk being just like the middle of the road commentator.
Mm-hmm.
And we hated Flair that whole match, and then Funk turned on him,
just
and
like
our
that.
emotions just
I will never get that table not splitting in half, but in three quarters.
No, wait. Didn't I just say that? And you guys said, what, you just watched it 2 weeks ago?
No, but
he said that. I said that was the last great feud. So not since
Yes.
1989/90 has a feud been better than Funk Flair.
I've had that feeling since then. I'm sorry.
Okay. Feel better?
Like the Booker T. Benoit Best of 7, that was great.
That wasn't a
That was
feud.
fun.
It wasn't a feud, but it was great. But the whole NWO thing, stop.
I didn't say
Goofy
NWO.
thing. I know there was stuff.
Austin Rock was a great feud. They headlined 3 WrestleManias in a row.
Yeah.
Remember the promo?
Was the Rock Hogan Toronto? Was that for a belt?
That's
No.
not a feud, though.
That wasn't a feud.
Well,
either, but
rivalry. We've changed it. Rivalry.
What about Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels in the mid-90s?
97.
Yeah, you can feel the
that
heat
was
in
good.
that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was hot in there. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Thanks,
That's
Fish.
a great question, Devon, from Yonkers, New York.
Think about it a little bit.
We need to do this over beverages.
We can do 10 Best Rivalries, a special episode of PWR Primetime. By the way, PWR Interactive returns to the airwaves tomorrow. It's going to be available on demand at pwrshow.com and
You
PWR.
and that Linda Kay, right?
Linda Kay.
Linda
Yeah.
Kay,
I can't wait to meet her.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us to that one.
And then on Friday, a brand new episode of PWR Prime Time coming to you on Time Warner Cable.
Now that's going to
right
be a
after
ratings
SmackDown.
bonanza.
That's from what I understand. It was a good one.
It's going to be awesome.
Now I was there. What do I mean? From what I understand.
Yeah.
Were you on, Dave?
The editors have
Of
told me
course.
it's turned out pretty good.
Ratings bonanza, I said. Not the old restaurant.
Ratings.
I think you
Bonanza.
actually. Well, never mind. That's the future, not the past. But right now, we're going to take a time out. This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report at 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Get the latest breaking sports news all day long on 540 ESPN.
You know what this song reminds me of?
Vintage Fish. That's what it reminds you of.
The Cause. Watching the Cause and X-Pac hang out last month together was rather interesting. I think Cause is the reason why X-Pac no-showed that TNA pay-per-view.
No, he was in your basement. What we never talked about, though, is the Cause managing the Road Dogg.
The D-O-double-G.
The
to
Recent
victory.
Wrestling show.
I'm
Really?
1-0.
You've managed
No, you're
Demolition.
2-0, aren't you?
You're
managed Kamala.
You're coming up you've managed Kamala, Demolition, and now Road Dogg.
I'm 1-0.
Wow.
That's 3-0.
I'm 3-0.
What's next?
You're like the,
I don't know.
Will you be my manager, Frank?
You're like the Grand Wizard right now.
Perfect.
Can you manage ODB at the next show?
What about Frankie DeFalco?
He wouldn't be able to.
Hey. That's one of the 5 words we can't say on the show.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, streaming live at ESPNMilwaukee.com and PWRshow.com. You can join us on the Trans Airlines phone zone. The number 276-3776, 1-800-993-3776. You know what? I'm getting hungry. I think I might go to Orlando next week, Monday, Tuesday.
Catering.
Why not?
Well,
catering.
You get catering Friday in Hammond.
What do you do for a living?
This.
Oh,
you didn't know? We get paid big dollars for this.
I know. I'm still waiting for my check, man.
It's an annual payment, and it's all soaked up with taxes.
Yeah.
Hot news.
I lost my train of thought. I had something, interesting to say, and
I didn't know you had.
I'm sure it was vicious.
And Rashi, he just,
said the 5 words I'm not supposed to say.
One of them.
That's 2 words.
Yeah, I'm all discombobulated right now.
You can't say that without a roll of tissue next to you.
Hot news. It's that time. Let's go to this week's hot news.
I'm Ted Couple.
It's time for Hot News. Live from the PWR World News Headquarters, here's Damian Nelson, Frank Costantino, Skull Crusher Rashi Brown, and David Tiberius Hero. This is Hot News.
And let's get right to the headlines. Sheldon Benjamin, he's going back to school. I don't think Rodney Dangerfield is involved, and I also don't think there's a driver standing in the lobby with a Bruce Springsteen sign. Anybody?
That was a great movie. I love that.
And who was that guy?
Thornton
He
Mellon.
played on The Sopranos, too.
Did he? I've never seen an episode of Sopranos.
You guys,
Oh.
Thornton Mellon?
You need to get a life.
Thornton Mellon.
Who's that?
Back to school.
Back to school.
Oh, yeah.
Rodney. Shelton's going to be graduating in May from the University of Minnesota. He had a little bit to finish up there, so he smartly, actually he had been back in school for a while. How? I don't know how he was able to do so, but back in school for a while and will be graduating. Clearly he is, not me, smartly.
That is pretty cool, man.
Yeah, smart. Shelton's a smart guy. And as we talked about after he had been released from WWE, what would Shelton do? What did Shelton need to do?
He's going to come back to TNA as the genius.
We all knew.
Leaping Lanny, Leaping Shelton Benjamin? What the heck are you talking about?
I'm going to be fighting that man over there.
The genius.
I don't care what he has in his hair.
You remember that match with Hogan and the Genius on a Saturday night's main event?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the night that they busted up Hogan's belt.
Was it? Was that the same night? Something else happened epically that night.
Correct me if I'm wrong, the Genius has a W over Hogan in his career record, doesn't he?
I think it was that night he actually
It was that night.
beat him.
Leaping Lanny.
God bless Leaping Lanny.
He was so great.
Him and Virgil.
He was ahead of his time, honestly.
Literally.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was.
Rey Mysterio is allegedly asked for permission to go and work a tournament named after him in the AAA promotion in Mexico.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Has been declined that opportunity. It's a tournament, the Rey Mysterio Invitational Tournament, and he simply wants to go and hand the title to whoever wins, and was told no.
Well,
WWE just had a great run down in Mexico.
I know, man. What does it hurt?
You know, WWE's, they're a huge brand. You can't touch them.
Listen, if he's down there working that show and blows out his knee.
He said just hand the belt to the winner. He didn't say wrestle.
Yeah.
That's what the report indicates.
They'll get a cease and desist. They will.
They do it for one person, then they got to do it for someone else. And it's a whole domino.
Speaking of ceasing, the bus that Triple H and Stephanie McMahon use has been seized.
Huh?
Got tied up in some legal crap between the manufacturer and the people that sold it to him. So there's $217,000 that is owed to somebody by someone. The U.S. Marshals have reportedly...
Is that the bus that we saw?
The Marshals have it?
The U.S. Marshals have reportedly taken the bus.
That's a beautiful
as
little
of
machine,
February
man.
4th. I can fit a Escalade in the back.
I could sit in that bus and never come out. No, ever. There's everything you want there.
I believe you.
So that is obviously, well, it's good Triple H is taking a little bit. Maybe that's why he's taking time off. I ain't going anywhere without
I
my
got to fix the bus.
He's the John Madden of wrestling.
We're going to continue with some more hot news items when we come back. We've also got Glenn down in Orlando waiting on hold, along with other callers. This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Music to my ears.
Now that's music.
Coming up this Friday on PWR Primetime, we're going to talk in-depthly about what went wrong in TNA's move to Monday night. And, David, I'm going to ask you about these nasty boys.
I love the nasty
Answer it
boys.
then. Answer it then. That was a tease, a plug.
All right.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540
You
ESPN
are a tease.
and ESPN. I hear that a lot. And ESPNMilwaukee.com. Damian Nelson, David Hero, Skull Crusher, Rashi Brown, and the Cos, Frank Cosentino, coming to you here with a special night and time, Wednesday, May 13th, 12th is today.
May 12th.
May 12th. We'll be back on.
10-year anniversary. I broke my neck.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Today, 10 years?
Tell that story, actually, because I'm not sure we've gone over
a week
that.
after your show. Your show was May 5th. Remember that?
I guess so.
You had signed why don't you tell the story? You had signed a developmental deal, I believe, with WWE, and then that was put, unfortunately, on the back burner.
Well, it didn't go that smoothly. No, I was with WWE, and they released me, and then the previous week I was at the power plant for a tryout with WCW.
That I did not know until right now.
Yeah.
You were at the power plant.
And then I came home, and
with Scrap Daddy.
3 days later, boom, there's your neck. Done. Yeah.
Car accident, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know, the original plan was for the Skull Crusher and R-Truth,
Ronnie Killing,
to be a tag team. Harlem Heat 2000.
No.
Harlem Heat.
That's it. Line of the night. Dave, you're done.
All right, now, after your goofballs are done laughing, those were the actual words that they said. We want you guys to be.
Who was gonna do the flapjack?
I know. I'm like, hey man,
the funniest.
I am not being Stevie Ray. I'm an athlete.
The funniest stuff said on this show is the truest.
Yes, I know.
But really, Harlem Heat 2000.
Yeah. Well, not 2000, but no, they said we want you to be the new Harlem Heat.
Was there a Sherry or?
Huh?
Was there going to be a Sherry or sensational?
Just a Sherry?
Yeah.
No.
Wow. I actually just learned.
I honestly would probably. Well, I was like.
That would have been neat to see.
I was 22 years old at the time, so. I like laid out this plan, and everything in my life, my whole life plan, came together. And then reality set in.
And that's the reason why.
Yeah.
So he could be here 10 years later.
Yeah.
On the #1 show.
There you go.
Woo! And you're going to be in Philadelphia next weekend, I believe, with Ring of Honor Wrestling.
That is correct, people. 2 days of television tapings. Come out and support your boy.
And as we continue hot news that we started earlier, Ring of Honor and HDNet just picked up on several Comcast networks.
Yes. We get to open more eyes of the people that are lost and need wrestling to watch.
And I would venture to say less of a conflict now on Monday nights with TNA retreating back to Thursdays.
Yeah. They saw their head-to-head ratings against ROH, and they hightailed it, baby.
I wonder if they were even not doing so well to that. It's a penetration issue.
I read Eric Bischoff's reasoning behind the move to Monday and the move back to Thursday.
They weren't there to compete.
Right. And you know what? The thing about Bischoff is he can twist it any way he wants. Everything in life. And I'm going to take him at face value because if you do what he said, you do expose yourself to a wider audience as if you never existed and you were just on Thursday. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, and we can give them a new, a fresh plate. And next or tomorrow forward, we need to see what's going to happen.
I don't like the little giddiness over there with you two guys.
I know. Are you looking at?
Frank just got an email. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it's the first time I've heard.
Let's go to Glenn.
And he's still reading it.
He can't read it. It's like 2 sentences, and he's sweating.
Let's go to Glenn in Orlando, Florida.
Did you open the attachment again?
No, there will be no.
And
you're live.
Online electric bill came through.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Glenn.
5 points on Kane, what you guys think about him right now. I've realized that he doesn't have any merchandise for anybody to buy. He's putting people over and making himself look weak because these young guys are beating him, and he's just not that, person that he was back in 2000. He has a lot more he could do today, yet they're not letting him do it. He likes to work with young guys, but I personally miss him in the main event spot. What needs to be done with Kane's character, if anything, in your opinion?
It's too late for that awkward time.
I think he's winding down at this point. I mean, you get a reasonable enough feud set up, and I think people will care again about him. But when's the last great Kane feud?
Kane's like the Pedro Morales of the late 80s.
Yeah, that's a perfect analogy. He is your lunch pail guy. What do you need me to do? Okay, I'll do it. Right. Okay, I'll do it. Year after year after year after year. And They tried, I think, something with the Royal Rumble as far as he's been in there the longest time and everything, and tried to do stuff like that. But he's just your lunch pail guy. Just comes in, does his job, and that's it.
He's pretty
punches
much
in, punches
been there
out.
and done everything.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't waste the energy into trying to revitalize Kane.
He's had a great run.
Right.
He's made his
Yeah,
money.
he really has.
He's been solid wrestler. He's done what he hasn't been
He's
horrible.
had every title.
Yep.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
He's not in the Hall of Fame.
Well,
he's a Hall of Famer.
He will be. He is their product solely. He will be a Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
He can't go in as anything else.
He can't be.
And he can't
Isaac
go
can't
anywhere else and be anything else. So yeah, he's going in.
Thank you for that call, Glenn, down in Orlando. You can join us on the phone lines. The number 414-276-3776. Again, that's 276-3776. Or all over the world at 1-800-990-3776. Gentlemen, we're going to take a time out when we come back. WrestleMania versus UFC. Some interesting numbers and news to talk about there. This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Tremendous. What's wrong with Stevie Ray?
The
flapjack. I think you buried him.
In the Harlem Heat, Booker T was very athletic.
Which would be Ron Killing.
Right, because he's a smaller guy. But I'm just as or more athletic than Booker T, so I'm not being Stevie Ray. You know what
Can
I
you
mean?
do the spinneroonie?
I can do a double spinneroonie. Get out of here, man.
And you have to go like this.
No, I do it with two hands.
This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report.
Can you dig that?
Yeah. On 540 ESPN, streaming live at ESPNMilwaukee.com and BWRShow.com. We were talking about hot news before we took that time out. WWE WrestleMania 26. We found out that it garnered about 885,000 buys, which is a substantial number, especially given the price increase. However, it's just about 100,000 buys fewer than last year. Fewer than WrestleMania 25. And one contributing factor may have been the UFC pay-per-view the night before, which garnered 770,000 buys. Vince McMahon says, as it pertains to the WrestleMania 26 number, two things. More people are ordering and watching the show in groups, and the WrestleMania event itself was good, but it wasn't great.
If he said good, you know he meant it stunk.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Not what he wanted.
But it's his vision. They just do what he wants them to do.
Yeah, but you can only work with what you got or what you've made to work with.
But it's what he made.
Yeah.
Which then hopefully will make next year's in Atlanta better.
But this is the deal, man. People can't go against the grain there to tell management we need to go this direction, because if you go against the grain, you become part of the wayside. So you're not listening to anybody but yourself. How are you ever going to improve? And those people don't live in reality. They don't spend any moments in the pub or the private sector with normal people. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what people want to see. They say they're people that do research and go out in the field and find these people, and they give them what they want. But I've never heard anybody come to my door and ask me what I'd like to see in a wrestling product. So
you know what? That happened to us, though.
It did?
Yeah, when we were in Phoenix.
Man. They know there's 8 billion wrestling fans there, of course.
Well, but big from Tough Enough. He stopped and asked what we thought.
Shut up, David. I'm talking about hired people specifically to go into a concentrated area and get the feedback from the people.
Yeah, you get a consultant. You do that. You get a marketing firm and say, here's something. But
that's why TNA moved catering to Thursdays.
That's probably maybe cheaper. But there's the financial side, which I think McMahon, I might be wrong on this, but that's really all they look at. They go, well, if it's just a little bit off, then I must be doing something right.
Who is this? Who are you speaking as Vince McMahon?
As the organization itself.
But they raised the price by $5, so it may have offset a lot of those lost revenues, and it could have been planned.
But that's the thing, though. that's how you offset lost revenue by raising prices. But then next year you turn off more fans because I paid $55 for an average WrestleMania.
Right.
I'm not paying $60 next year and hope that it's better than last year. So now it's $60 and you got 700,000 buys. It's $70 next year and you got 500,000 buys. It doesn't make sense.
That trend is not going to work.
Right.
So they have to do something that'll make you draw it. That okay, we're not going to see it. There's something new on WrestleMania. I have to buy this now.
Right.
Simon 5150 in the Chatosphere PWRshow.com says next year's WrestleMania will have a payment plan. Here's what I don't get. Why don't they sell an annual package or a quarterly package? And sometimes they do it with the Road to WrestleMania where you get $5 off
too
total.
expensive.
Well, the NBA.
Right, but people would buy it and they're locked in.
Yeah. The NBA does it. NHL does it.
A lot of the
Baseball
satellite
does it.
shows. Yeah. And those aren't cheap
It's completely different, though.
I don't
You're
care.
talking 12 pay-per-views, not talking 160 games.
How many? Is it 10 pay-per-views?
Well, but they can do whatever they want.
Okay,
They can do
so,
the Road to WrestleMania, the Road to
let's say there's
SummerSlam, the
12
Road to Survivor
pay-per-views
Series.
at $600, but you give it to them for $400, and you just charge their card or something every
But
month.
what if you lost? How many of those people would have ordered anyways? That's the risk they run. If they would have ordered anyways each month, you're giving away that money.
You're
You know
not
how
giving
you
away
increase
because
your-
who orders 12 pay-per-views in a year?
Meathead. But listen, here's what you do.
You steal.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You just
I order 26,
And
29.
how many do you pay
how
for or write off? Stop it.
You know, but here's the thing. If they want
Rocky's smart.
If they want to increase the WrestleMania buys, they include the Hall of Fame in it.
Yeah.
No. This Hall of Fame this year was, come on.
I'm not talking about this year, but
Well,
overall.
I'm just saying. Make it
Getting hot.
interesting.
You know, I read your Ole Anderson
Well,
book.
remember, what was it, WrestleMania
Finally.
2000 when they did the all-day WrestleMania, and you could either buy that or just the event? It was like $50 for that all-day gig, and they just showed, it was clips leading up to WrestleMania
It was very
all day.
cool. I
It was
liked that.
awesome. And why can't they do that? You know, they're talking about launching this channel and all this other stuff, and, you know, we'll see where that goes. But I think these numbers are very troubling and should be very troubling for WWE on top of WWE Raw ratings continuing to sink and plummet. They may end up below a 3. Now, the NBA playoffs, I think, are a contributing factor. But they may end up before a 3 by summer. Memorial Day is always a bad rating. That's coming up in the next couple of weeks. But they're dangerously close to that post or under 3 rating, which is a warning sign, I think.
I don't know if it is or not.
I'll sum up Raw for you. It's a variety show with a guest star.
And the fans have been turned away.
Yeah, I come to watch wrestling. I don't want to see Flavor Flav in a wrestling ring.
Got an email from Ray Smith via PWRshow.com, reference pay-per-view buys. The question, is WWE getting hurt because of UFC success and overall appeal to the coveted 18 to 35-year-old demographic, which is typically the driving force between pay-per-view buy rates?
I will say this. UFC skyrocketed in pay-per-view buys and interest when they started developing the backgrounds of their fighters.
Mm-hmm.
Before they didn't
story,
because
if
they
you will.
wanted to stay legit.
When
Supposedly,
Ken
yes,
Shamrock,
it is or is it, blah, 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 who cares. But, yeah, they just made them legitimate fighters. You see them coming to the ring, and that was it. But then they gave them backgrounds, and you could see their personalities. And Dana White took Vince's freaking recipe, and he used it, and it's working. So I don't like the UFC. I don't like MMA. That's not my deal. But I would rather watch that than a WWE pay-per-view, honestly. I would rather.
UFC has the big return of Brock Lesnar coming up in July, I believe, as well, and that's going to pose a problem for WWE.
And that's a good point with WrestleMania and having the UFC fight before then. I don't know how much the UFC thing was, but let's say it's $50. That demographic that you're going after, what do you want to spend? That $50 on UFC or $50 on WrestleMania?
And on a Saturday night.
Well,
exactly.
We ended up watching that UFC show in Arizona, in Phoenix, with Barbara Streisand.
Yes,
before the Waffle House.
And Jose Canseco.
A very clear non-wrestling fan crowd.
Absolutely.
It was and I'm not saying anything other than what I'm saying after observing this, but the crowd was very sophisticated to a
Except
degree
for
where,
Canseco.
right, he had some issues, but he was there after the show. But it was not a wrestling crowd, and there's nothing wrong with a wrestling crowd, but it was a distinct difference from what you see for a wrestling pay-per-view. This group they were
Let me
a lot
tell
more
you
to say
one
than I ain't
thing.
going to say. Maybe
when
Rashi will.
WWF or
Who?
E stopped their attitude thing and they went in a different direction, They left hanging all these 30-year-old guys that want to edgy, cutting edge, gruesome, nasty, dirty.
That had money
cool
to
to be
spend.
associated
And they
with.
just went to the next best thing, which was UFC.
Mhm.
I don't see anything entertaining. I was an amateur wrestler, and I'd rather watch the Big Ten, Wisconsin versus Illinois in a wrestling meet than UFC.
Yeah.
But people want to see it, and New York or WWE is missing out. They lost that demographic. They're gone. That's where they are. And for Dana White to have the stuff to put on a pay-per-view the night before Vince's, that's
Vince's
just the ego check.
biggest
He
pay-per-view.
wants to see where he is against Vince. Even though they're completely different sports, they're still competing with each other.
Yep. When we come back, it's those favorite JR moments. Good old Jim Ross. This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, streaming live at ESPNMilwaukee.com. Well, it's this weekend, boys.
It's a live event. This should be on pay-per-view.
Yes.
What?
Meathead's wedding this weekend.
Oh, God.
Oh, it's the theme song.
Well,
Playing
it
right
just goes to show you
Might be the last time we
how
hear it.
Wisconsin has, how they've taken easy on the state laws around here so he can get married.
I know.
And no, come on, let's be nice. Let's wish him and his new bride the best.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I do wish him the best.
I mean, because honestly, you're getting married, so you're going to need a lot of well wishes.
We wish you a lot of best.
Our best wishes obviously go out to the man they call Meathead, who's going to be tying the knot.
Wow.
This weekend.
Will there be a lot of little meat running around soon?
The mere thought.
Can you imagine
Meatballs.
that? Can you imagine that?
I think to that I would say,
Sausages.
good God Almighty. Good God Almighty.
I hope
Sausages
somebody
all over the place.
Good old JR, Jim Ross. Here's what we've learned. His contract expired. His talent contract expired on April 30th with WWE. He is still
Frank is laughing sideways, just so you know.
an administrative employee with WWE, but saying that he and WWE cannot come to an agreement on their desire to use him as an on-air talent and his desire to do so. He wants to do it. He thinks he can still contribute, and WWE simply does not want to go in that direction. So given that, and given the amazing career that Jim Ross has had, calling and being a part of some of wrestling's most spectacular moments, I'd like to go around the room and talk about our favorite good old JR moments, and mine would have to be, it's difficult to pick just one, but I can't imagine without Jim Ross at the 1998 King of the Ring, Mick Foley versus The Undertaker.
Darn it. You see, we should have started with me so we could.
You
never
can
mind.
have the same one, Frank.
No. Fine, go.
I just, without him,
Howdy McPout
his
over there.
passion, calling that match, it would not have been the same.
Yeah, that is putting two other people in there. It may have not come. There was an added dimension to that, and you can hear it in the voice of Jim Ross that
He meant every word of it.
yeah, this is something that I don't think I'll ever see again.
Because it wasn't scripted.
Exactly, and that's what put that. I don't know if that's my favorite, but that's the one that stands out the most to me, and I don't know if anyone else could have pulled that off. I couldn't imagine Tony Schiavone doing that match.
It would have woke him up.
It would have, but that was an amazing. The way that he called that thing was amazing.
David the Hero. So you're going to go back to 89 again?
It's hard.
So many great Stone Cold, WrestleMania 14, the heel turn.
You know what, though?
When him and Cole got into it, and Dr. Death.
Everything he did in the Attitude Era.
Everything? When he had a little bit of spice in his commentary between him and Jerry Lawler.
Damn you, Triple H.
You know what I mean? He was the reason why the Attitude Era got over. He could tell a story.
He could tell a story. He meant it. He felt it. He believed it. He pushed it.
And let's not forget, he also was invested into these guys that he signed himself, put his name on them.
And his last
so he
hire
had to make
was?
sure to get him over.
His last hire as Chief of Talent Relations was?
Jack Swagger.
Rashi Brown, Jim Ross, your favorite Jim Ross moment. Good old JR.
I can't say I don't have any, but that's not a bad thing. Commentary has never been a deciding factor in anything with me as far as a wrestling match, but I did appreciate what he did for the sport and I don't think he's done yet.
I don't think he's done either.
Would somebody stop the damn match? Shawn Michaels is getting beat like a government mule. Slobber knocker.
I think just those things wear on me because
if there wasn't a JR, would people perceive Michael Cole as being as bad as they perceive him to be?
Yeah, because it's
who better than Tony Schiavone? Michael Cole?
No. Cole's way better than Schiavone.
Oh, Schiavone? Schiavone of all
I don't
time?
like Schiavone.
Schiavone was good.
I have personal animosity towards him.
You guys got heat?
I do.
And you're telling us now?
Now.
We got to
brought
find
up his
Tony
name.
Schiavone.
I'm sorry.
Well, tell us what happened.
He lives in Atlanta.
All right, I was like 17. I used to set up the rings for WCW. I was a kid traveling everywhere, and I stayed at the Hyatt. I didn't mean to advertise. But anyway, I was at the hotel that the boys were in.
Thing, is it?
And, you know, I'm in an elevator, or Schiavone's in an elevator. I get in the elevator. He clutches his freaking briefcase like I'm going to rob him.
The door lock scenario.
My God, man.
Well, we want to make sure you tune in to the Pro Wrestling Report Interactive Special Edition tomorrow at PWRShow.com and primetime Friday after SmackDown on Time Warner Cable in Milwaukee and on demand at PWRShow.com. We'll be back with you again next Thursday night after Impact right here on 540 ESPN, streaming live at PWR Show and ESPNMilwaukee.com.